Hey, everybody. It's Not Your Mother's Day Fantasy League podcast. I'm your host, Mike. As always, I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, the pickleball champion, Dave Buck. He does all the research, so you don't have to. How we doing, Dave?
Hey, doing well tonight, Mike. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great. I'm streaming from a remote location today, but all the technology is with me, so the stream will not change.
Where's
We
your
got
remote?
another.
Where's your remote location? Looks like you got all kinds of makeup and hair products out behind you. Not that I would know
I'm.
what that is, but
I don't either. I can't even read half of this stuff back here. It's in different languages, so. Uh,
anyways, thanks
right.
for being here. So,
Hey, Jordan, thanks for joining in.
thanks for speaking up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So it is week
week 9 in the
12.
NFL, week 12 in the MDFL. So,
And
let's kick
let's
it off with Survivor. We started with 3 at the week. We are down to 2. It is the Mike and Mike show now.
it
How
is.
I was picking on the Panthers to lose, and the freaking Saints can't even do that for me.
Oh man, I didn't look at that yet.
So
Oh wow.
2 of you playing for $200, unless you guys are going to split it and let us back in.
Wow, that was bold of Mike to pick the Vikings. I actually had a really good feeling that the Colts would stay in that game. Their defense would show up, which it did. Unfortunately, the offense did not look that much better either. So unfortunately did not get as close as I thought it could be, but at least they made it a game.
So,
That was bold. That was bold.
anyways, you guys have made it for 4 weeks in a row. That's congratulations. That's more than all the rest of the combined weeks.
Yeah, so it's a two-man show.
Yep,
Wow.
the Mike and Mike show.
And then, of course, going over here, I still can't catch you because you
Jeff
keep
has
having
caught me
these.
though. If you pay attention, Jeff has caught me. Jeff's 1 game ahead of me right now. That
Yeah.
Houston Jets game, I switched that probably about 20 minutes before the game, thinking that Houston was going to do it, and that cost me a victory. So,
I don't know. I should have been thinking on a short week that the hometown Jets in prime time would finally show up. That's a pretty good call there. But yeah, I did not.
but anyways, Jeff and I are up there at 93, and Sean, if you're out there, you're bringing up the rear at 79. Dude, you're only 14 games behind. The good thing is you haven't been eliminated yet, but if we all miss our picks and you got everything right,
There you
you'd
go.
be just about there with us.
That's true. That is true. So there you go. Still some drama here, and Jeff is now officially caught up in
Yeah,
points.
Jeff has caught me.
All right. Well, let's move on to the main event here. And that, of course, is the MDFL Fantasy League, where my team is showing its ass. And that is why I'm completely out of this thing. And it's just not even funny when I can't crack 200 points anymore. So
Well, I've got you. Where? I'm on page 2.
losing,
Well, I wasn't going to put it that way, but
it's a
Braxton,
done
somehow he's up
deal.
by 66 points, which is hard to believe. So Braxton's up by 66 points. You guys both have 1 player left, but it's going to be a battle of the running backs.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't have anybody.
Oh, I had you at Rashid White. Are you final?
Now I'm final under
Oh,
100, under 200 final. It's
sorry, I messed that one up then.
yeah,
I
it's
must have been
bad.
looking at somebody else. So
Man,
anyway,
your background sometimes totally blanks you out. It must be the jersey. It thinks you're part of the background.
part of the ground. So
Yeah, no need to cover this. It was bad all around. When you get a goose egg out of a linebacker and a defensive end, you can't expect much. Quarterback in the single digits. DJ Moore walking off the field while the play's still live. Just bad all around.
I see Tyreek Hill still hasn't found the end zone for you though.
It's
Even with
ridiculous.
Tua back.
Even with Tua back. It's insane. Yeah. So not going to do much when my best player can't find the end zone for a whole season.
I hear you. Hey, my best player's been on the IR all year long, so
Yeah.
tying up $29.5 million.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a sob story for later. So
That is rough.
All right, let's move it on here. We got Cincinnati and Jacksonville, a
Yep.
matchup of two division leaders, I should say. Nick came in at 10-1. Eric's coming in at 7-4. Unfortunately, this one's over. Sorry, Eric, but Nick's up by 44, and he's still got the safety Connor going for him. So Nick's going to walk away from this one, going from 10-1 to 11-1, still being in first place. Jags are going to fall to 7-5.
Man, somebody told him that somebody should have told him that Bijan Robinson guy's pretty good.
Well, the problem with that is, Algier got the touchdown this week, so even took a touchdown away from him. So
yeah,
nice little handcuff to get in that trade if you can make that trade.
Yeah, but really.
Who knows?
Imagine giving up both of those guys.
No.
Called it. Although we'll come back to that. The guy that gave up those people in that trade is actually going to beat one of our defending champions here, it looks like.
Yes, he is. Both these teams come in at 3-8 this week. Pittsburgh Jim's up by 101 points over Tennessee. Tennessee does have, by the way, Pittsburgh's final, so he's up by 101. Dustin does have 3 players left. He's got his quarterback Mahomes, which he always has. He has the offense and the safety in Winfield. It's a good 3 to have, but not going to be worth 101 points tonight. So you can give Jim the victory here. Tough season continues for Dustin and his Titans.
Yeah, Dustin taking multiple goose eggs down here. My goodness, I'm counting 3 if you're scoring at home. Oof.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right. Colts and Browns. I don't think the Colts are going to have enough to catch up here either.
Colts are not going to be able to catch here. Cleveland's up by 102. Indy's got 3 players left, running back Green, kicker, and Tranquil, the linebacker. The interesting thing here is Dan is sitting right now on that 7 spot in the playoffs. So he's going to keep pace with that ahead of Gavin and his Ravens, who we'll get to in a little bit, who's going to keep pace with him. Get to this one. I'll just spill the beans right here. We have our first team that's going to be eliminated from the playoffs, and that's going to be Jason. Jason sitting at 1-10 right now, going to fall to 1-11, and he'll be the first team eliminated from the playoffs this year. So sorry, Jason.
He may have to get comfortable with that pink plate, huh?
Well, we'll talk about that, but there's a couple guys in the running for that one yet. So.
Let's see. Just looking real quick here. Yeah. 1 goose egg. 2 goose eggs. Ooh, goose egg out of a running back. Rough. Ooh. All right, moving on. I'm making the Texans score of 205 look good, but Gavin's gonna go back to 500 here. It looks like.
Yep, Gavin's gonna jump back to 500. Going to win this game 6-6. He's got a player left. Josh is out of players. Gavin's up by 96 right now. He's still a game behind Cleveland Dan. The interesting thing, I will bring this up, the next 3 weeks we do get back into division play. So we got 4 weeks left after this, total of 5 games, a doubleheader on the last weekend 13. But the next 3 weeks are division play, and we got a lot of tight division races right now, which could definitely change the playoff scenery. So, Gavin and Dan, they'll have an important game in the next couple of weeks. So.
All right, moving on to the Dolphins and Broncos. High scoring matchup, but it looks like Sean's going to take another L here.
Miami came in at 8-3. Broncos came in at 5-6. Currently, Rich and his Dolphins are up by 53. He's got 2 players left. Levante, the linebacker Levante, and cornerback Izin. Broncos got Travis Kelce and his kicker, and Bolton, linebacker tonight for the Chiefs. Good 3 to have, or at least good 2 out of 3. Who cares about the kicker, right? But not enough to overcome the 53 points that he's chasing. So the tough season for Sean continues to happen. And Rich who's thrown in his cards just a couple weeks ago, ready to tank. Is going to find himself 9-3, still in the middle of not only the AFC East, but middle of that playoff race also.
Yeah, well, I guess we can call Rich a terrible tanker
A
because
terrible
this
tanker.
team just keeps plowing right ahead. Finds himself with Chase Brown in the lineup, and it looks like the Bengals might be moving towards him as their primary guy there.
Uh-huh.
And then, wow, what a game out of Njigba. I think a lot of Njigba owners have been waiting for this type of game from him
So,
in a losing game, of course. But
well, I see that he had Barkley. Barkley had 42 points, but did you see him do the reverse hurdle?
yeah, that was the next thing. I keep seeing highlights of that with the juke, the spin move, followed by the reverse hurdle. That
That
was
was
nuts.
insane.
Nobody's ever questioned his talent. Is just can he stay on the field? And when he is, he's elite.
So,
Yeah, good stuff.
anyways, Rich is going to go to 9-3 in that division. Go to 9-3. It's gonna that's interesting because we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. Let's go for the next game here. We got the Patriots and Chargers. Patriots are up by 59. He's got one player left, cornerback McCollum. Chargers got two players left, Yaya Diaby and defensive tackle Wharton. Not enough for Jared and his Chargers. Joey's going to go to 9-3. Also, same record as Rich in the AFC East. So very interesting. And then if you want to scroll to the next game, give me the Buffalo game. This one is, there's a lot to talk about here. Currently, Buffalo's sitting on top of the AFC East with a 9-2 record right now, but he finds himself on the wrong side of the score. Currently, the Raiders are up by 25 points. He's got his Baker and McDuffie left for him. Buffalo's sitting back with Xavier Worthy and Brian Cook. I don't think it's going to be enough for Jeremy to pull this one off, which means Jeremy's going to fall to 9-3, and that means there's going to be three teams, Buffalo, Miami, and the Patriots, all sitting at 9-3 in that division. Joey's got the tiebreaker right now, so he's going to move to the top of that division. But the three of them are all going to be playing each other this week or the next couple of weeks. So same thing with back to the Raiders. The Raiders Bills game at the beginning of the year, before anything happened, this had to be circled as the Hargrove matchup. Okay,
Yeah, true.
so. Matt's team originally was Aaron's team, and it was, so this would have been a Hargrove matchup. So, Mike, I got to ask you the question. Matt's done a really great job at managing this team, getting this team to 10-1, probably 11-1 after this team. But in my book, it's still Aaron's team that he built because he had all those draft picks and $83 million in dead cap last year, and a pink license plate to go with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So who gets credit for the team? The guy who drafted it or the guy who's managing it now?
Wow. I mean, unfortunately, I think if you step down a week before the season, all of the credit goes along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
should, Matt.
You should, Matt. You should.
His first 2 years were really rough. I mean, he was in last place in both of them. And no offense to you, you've obviously done a good job putting the right guys in place. But yeah, he built a bit of a monster, and a lot of these players are young too.
So there's a part of me that wants to say maybe I should hire Aaron to do my drafting because of how well he did. But I've seen him at the draft, and not sober and wanting to start fights doesn't cut it for me. But yet he gets the best players. So he's got a great roster. He's very young, very deep. Raiders could be around for a long time with what's going on. So,
well, Dave, I'll just note that next year, if you ask to punch me in the face, it's just your draft strategy.
It's just my draft. Okay. Not looking to start any fights, but I'll just drop a couple F-bombs and stuff like that, and we'll see how that plays out. So, the other part I do want to, I'm going to tip my hands just a little bit here with a victory here. If Las Vegas does get the victory here, 11-1, that will be the first playoff spot clinched for 2024. The Raiders will actually win the division, the West Division, with Sean Broncos losing. So sorry, Sean, but you're helping the Raiders out. So Matt's still got some stuff to play for. He's still got that number 1 seed to play. But if he pulls this win out tonight, he'll be the first one in the playoffs. So
AFC West has been flipped upside down with me and Sean having rough years. Don't get comfortable, Matt. We'll come back for you next year. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Moving on to the Bears and the Falcons. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Dave can pull this off.
Let's get to my back part. Yeah, this one sucks for me. Mike's up by 49. He's final. I need Nick Bolton to have a killer game tonight. I don't see it happening. He hasn't scored 49 points in a game for me. So as much as I want it to happen, it's probably not going to happen. I'm going to fall to 6-6 and fall further away from playoffs. So, like I said, this is fun. I trade too much. I suck at this league. Can't figure it out. So, anyways, there sits Cedric Tillman, who I'm scared to play because he plays for the Browns, and that's three touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Their only touchdown, though.
Well,
against a very good defense on the road, I can't blame you.
Yeah, but my Flex 5 didn't have any touchdowns.
Ooh,
actually, I take that back. Trey McBride had a rushing touchdown for my tight end. So I am off the Michael Pittman. Man, I thought Pittman for sure would have a great game last night with Flacco being the quarterback. But
I would have done the same thing. I would have started Pittman even against that Vikings defense with Flacco in there over Tillman. So I can't blame you there.
So anyways, very disappointing. I can't figure this season out. I'm just here to do Monday night recaps with you guys. Obviously, I can't manage a team. So
me either.
So anyways, moving along, congratulations to Mike. By the way, he's going to be 8-4 when this thing's all said and done. We'll talk about him and the NFC North in just a little bit. So
we will.
Here we got Detroit and Tampa Bay. Jordan's up by 73 points. He's got one player left. That's his offense. Not a big deal there. Tampa Bay, he's got Rashad White left. Not going to be enough to overcome the 73 points. Jordan's going to move to 8-4 and just really tighten up that thing in the NFC North. Now, Tampa Bay, you're going to fall down to 4-8. Not going to cry a whole lot for you because you're in my conference and you're up on my team. I get to play you in week 12 when I got 20 players on buys that week. So no mercy for you, Dustin. Sorry, bud.
I remember very early, was that even before the season, where Jordan gave up the farm for Jack Campbell, and he's really starting to come around these last couple of weeks. He's been very consistent with his tackle numbers here lately.
Yep. And by the way, Jordan, if you're listening, I am pulling for Drake London. I don't want to see him miss any games, but in the real life, Atlanta needs him as a receiver. WR number 1. So.
Trying to improve his offense.
Yep.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Great defense. Could do a little bit better in the flex spots, but you're sitting pretty, man. Moving up to the Packers, the Panthers.
Green Bay and the Panthers. This is also a battle of division leaders. Mike's sitting 10-1. He's currently got a 22-point lead. Adam is out of players and going to take a loss. He's going to fall to 8-4. The good news for him is the team that's chasing him already lost. Yep, unless Bolton goes off, but that's me crying again. But anyways, Green Bay is going to move to 11-1 in that NFC North. Just to pile on here, Mike has 2 players left. He's got Mahomes and Kelsey. So 400 mark is really not out of the picture. If Mahomes and Kelsey gets this thing done, we could have our first 400-point game of the year. Wow. I think right now the highest score this year is Joey on the Patriots, and I think he bottomed out at 398 or topped out at 398. So very capable of hitting 400 tonight.
And he also had that Autry stat line on the bench, but I can't blame you. I did the same thing. Yeah, good stuff here, Mike. Good stuff. Wow. Piling it on. Vikings and Saints. This is over. Let's skip it. No,
Yeah, this
poor Brett.
I, I'm not used to saying this, but Minnesota's up by 183 points. I don't know if I've ever said 183 points. They both have one left. Minnesota's got safety Whitehead, and New Orleans got Yaya Diaby left. Um, good thing for Minnesota, they're going to stay competitive in that NFC North. They're going to go to 7-5. Brent, on the other side, you're 1-11. Do not plan on breaking this losing streak that you're going to face me next week. So I'm going to root for one more week for you. So, anyways, Minnesota's going to go to 7-5, stay right in the thick of the playoff race there in that game.
Yeah. Brent's going to be looking at a pink license plate in his near future unless he starts pulling something out here.
Well, he's got me left on his roster, on his schedule yet, so he's got a chance.
Well, I hang out with Brent, and I don't want to see this pink license plate when I walk into his garage next time. So
Well, I could probably look at point totals right now. Give me just a second here.
I'm going to be rooting for him. Sorry, Dave.
21, 31. Well, technically, he's got an 81-point lead over Jason right now. So on the tiebreaker, he does have the tiebreaker over Jason.
Okay.
So either Jason needs to start scoring some points.
That's right. It's only one for the whole league, not one for each side, unless Nick wants to go buy another plate.
Unless we change the bylaws. But right now we only have one. So.
Okay. Might be a saving grace. Okay. Noted. This is another landslide, it looks like.
This is a good game here for Josh in Seattle. Josh is on a losing streak of. Josh was on a losing streak of 7 games and came in as a heavy underdog. And right now he's up by 112 points. He is finished for the week, so a good showing with 332 points. Dallas has got 2 players left, Bucky Irving and Levante David left, but not going to make up that 112 points. So good win for Josh. Get off the snide. He's going to jump to 3-9. Dallas is going to fall to 6-6. Dallas, another one of those teams like Atlanta, just creeping further and further back in that playoff race.
Yeah, I'm seeing this now twice. Is this Trey Hendrickson 57.9? That seems to be leading the pack by a lot.
Yeah, I checked it out, and Hendrickson's 57 points was the high player of the week.
I also still find it amazing that Marvin Harrison just continues to underwhelm because it's not his quarterback's job to get him the ball.
No, he's either a bust or a bang. I mean, I cannot believe that, I've got him in another fantasy world, and he has just been a no-show. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I overdrafted him in one of my redraft leagues as well, like into the second round, and yikes, terrible return for that pick. All right, moving on.
Philadelphia, San Francisco. This one's interesting also. Philadelphia is up by 76. He's got 2 players left. Tight end Kate Otten and safety Winfield. San Francisco's got 1 player left. Probably it's either Vet or Chris Jones. I'm going to guess it's probably Chris Jones. But anyways, with 1 player left, it's not enough to overcome the 76. Shannon's going to stay right in the thick. He's going to move to 8-4, and he's going to stay right in the thick of that wild card race. He's going to stay right in the thick of the wild card race, or take over the lead with the next game with Washington. So we got a very interesting one on the next game here. Actually, what you're seeing first and second of these 2 guys play the Washington and the Rams. So this game very much has implications on the Washington Rams games here. So the Rams here, they find themselves down by 6 points. He's got Brian Cook left. Washington's got 2 players left, Justin Reed and the KC coach. theoretically, if the two safeties cancel each other out, if KC loses tonight, he could have a negative score taken away from Washington's score. The reason why I say that is Washington and Philly are both playing for that top spot in the East, and the Rams and the 49ers are also playing for first place in the West. So if the Rams were to win this game and San Francisco was to lose, the Rams by a tiebreaker would jump into the division lead there. So we got some neat things going on with playoffs and who's doing what and who's got some tiebreakers. But checking the tiebreakers with the Rams, I think he's like 1-2 in the division, but his one win is over San Francisco, which is a good win to have if that's who you're going to be tied with. Mm-hmm. So, and again, those two teams will be playing in the next couple of weeks, which will help straighten some stuff out.
Last but not least,
here we got a pair of 3-8 teams. Both teams are on a 7-game losing streak, and we are less than a point between them. So this will be interesting. The Giants have got Kareem Hunt left. Cardinals, you got your kicker left. I think you have Michael Dana. If that's the case, he is ruled out. You do need a defensive end. Hopefully you picked one up today from when I looked at it. Let me take a look if you did or not. But anyways, go out and try to find yourself a defensive end that's playing yet tonight and see if you can't get this to switch in your way. Did he do it? As of yet, no, he did not. So anyways, Jeff, if you're listening, you do have an opportunity to fix this. So anyways, interesting game. Like I said, both teams are on a losing streak of 7 games. Somebody's going to break that. Somebody's going to go to an 8-game losing streak.
There you have it. That is our Week 12 recap. But Dave, you had some other things you want to discuss as well. Some drama going on.
I do. Still up for grabs is going to be the AFC number 1 seed. Both the Bengals and the Raiders are both going to probably walk out of here 11-1. So they're both going to be both after that 1 seed. So unfortunately, they do not play. I don't think they play. Did they play in the last week or not? Let me check that. And Nick does not. So, no, they will not play. They do not play each other until the playoffs come. But anyways, that number 1 seed is going to be very important, especially when we start talking about who's got a bye and who. I mean, when you got teams that are on a week 14 bye. So very important to get that. Mm-hmm. Also, you got the AFC. We got 3 teams. We talked a little bit about it earlier. 3 teams that are going to be 8-3 with Miami, New England, and the Bills. Or should I say 9-3? I'm sorry about that. 9-3. And then you got your NFC West teams. And you got one team out front sitting at where Mike and his Packers are going to be 11-1. Scroll back up. One more. Right there. All 4 of these teams won this week. The Bears are going to go 8-4. Jordan's going to go to 8-4. Hayden's right there at 7-6. Unfortunately, Braxton is bringing up the rear, holding back the AFC East in that division. But here's 4 solid teams, and you can make the argument, and I think the argument will probably be made that I think the toughest division right now is the NFC North. So. The interesting thing here that I'm going to point out, if Washington does lose this game, they're going to fall to 7-5. Hayden moves up to 7-5. Theoretically, with their records, could they put 4 teams into the playoffs? Take all 3 of those wild cards. Wow. They do have to play each other. They're gonna play each other again over the next 3 weeks. So hopefully things will sort its way out that way. Tough to say for the Packers that they're sitting at 11-1. right now, and they haven't even clinched their division, but they are getting close.
Mhm.
So, which brings me up to we have divisional play the next 3 weeks. Some key games to look at next week is the Bears Vikings game. That's got playoff implications. Same thing with the Packers Lions, and also the Dolphins Bills. So those would be the interesting ones to watch. Uh,
Indeed.
on a side note, I did look a little bit deeper tonight. Again, if the Raiders win tonight, the Raiders are currently on a 10-game winning streak. If they win tonight, which they should, they will move to 11 games, and that will be a new record for the MDFL for the longest winning streak in the 3 years we've had it.
Wow.
So, other interesting,
Sweet.
other interesting one is we have 4 teams, and actually Cardinals, Seahawks, Indy, and the Chargers. Josh and the Seahawks are going to get a win tonight, so he's going to be off the snide there. But Cardinals, Indies, and the Chargers all have 7-game losing streaks right now. If they lose, it's going to be 8 games. And the record for the longest losing streak is 10 games. So we'll see if that plays out for the next 3 weeks. Not necessarily a record that you want to have, but you got 3 teams in contention for that.
You know, I think I'd rather have the record for the longest losing streak than to take the pink plate.
Well, you're going to have the record. I tell you what, whoever has the record is probably going to end up with the pink plate.
Yeah. But if I had the choice, if I only had one of those things happening,
You want the record instead of the pink plate?
yeah, I'd rather like 32 guys know than like everybody anybody in traffic, that I don't know, the thousands of people.
Yes, but the record will stay cemented for forever. So, because I can look it up and I can tell you that the who owns the record for the longest, the 10 game losing streak is the Texans and the Raiders, who both did it last year. So,
I think I'd still rather have the record than the pink plate, even if it is only for like 7 months.
anyways, I'm not sure Brent knows about the pink license plate yet. Maybe if he did,
Ooh,
you might want to break that to him next time you talk to him.
I'll let him know. He'll maybe pump up those trade offers.
Jason has had that pink license plate, and he doesn't seem to be afraid of it.
No, embracing it.
So
Oh man. So I was gonna go back to the which division is the strongest, and I crunched a number real quick here. So the point the points for or point totals for all of the AFC East teams,
yep.
you get 308 as the average between the 4 teams. And of course, one of these teams is 308. I would give the nudge to the AFC North based on record, but they also average 313 points for, so record higher and point scoring higher. The interesting thing in this division is the fact that Jordan's got 299 here, which is actually lower than the Vikings here, showing you a bit of the scheduling luck we've talked about with
Yep.
these 2 teams here. So very interesting to see how that's
Yeah,
plays out so far.
Hayden has had some very tough losses.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Um, anything else, Dave?
that's pretty much what I've got. A lot of stuff going on this week. I do want to remind everybody trade deadline is this Thursday, so we got basically 4 days left at 7 o'clock. Trade deadline is
Mhm.
over. Taxi snipes end at 10 o'clock Thursday morning. Okay. So for those of you who want to, for you new guys who want to learn how to manipulate cap, okay, at 10:01 you can put expensive players down on your taxi safely. They can't be sniped away
Mhm.
from you. So if you've got a Kyrene Williams at $27 million, you could throw him down there and he's safe and nobody can take him, and you've just opened up $27 million
Yep.
more dollars. But then you've got about 9 hours to work a trade to get it back underneath the cap. So it's a way to manipulate cap a little bit. Little trick if you know how to use it. But it is there. You still have to be under cap. during the week and when you play it moving forward. So
Quasi interesting game tonight, although the Chiefs at home kind of seem unbeatable. I think the intriguing part is just going to see how high the Packers score can get
the
because the
Buccaneers,
Buccaneers have proven their secondary can't stop some teams, so it could
well,
get a little silly over there in Arrowhead.
my question with it is, Patrick Mahomes has not been scoring a lot of points this year.
No.
And the Buccaneers have been throwing points up all over the place, even after they lost their top two wide receivers. So even if they put up a better than average point score, are the Chiefs going to be able to match those point totals?
I feel like it should be the breakout week for them. As bad as the Bucs secondary has been. They've been in a lot of shootouts, so I'm kind of feeling like this is the breakout week.
Well, and if it is the breakout week, um, Mahomes and Kelsey is going to be a big part of that. And like I said earlier, I think Green Bay has a chance of going over 400 points, which there's only two of us that have done that. Rich has done it twice. I've done it once. So we'll see if Mike can cement himself on one of the top scorers.
And sometimes these games go completely against conventional knowledge and watch it be 14-10.
14-10, 9-3, 9-7.
Yeah.
So
There you go. All right, good stuff, guys. Hopefully at least it's an interesting game. I think it could be actually. Good luck to everybody that's got something on the line tonight. And of course, make sure you join us next week for another recap.
yep. I'm hoping to be back here in time to do this for next week. I'm coming back from Texas next Monday night. So I should be here in time. Hopefully I'll have my homework done and ready to go for you guys. So
Okay.
to our
And if not,
listeners, thanks for checking in with us tonight. Thanks for leaving us some text messages. And guys, be good. Get some trades in. Nothing crazy like to Justin Jefferson to the Saints or anything like that. So
yeah, right. Yep. Crazy stuff. Added a couple guys to taxi squad, so they're cheap to grab this time of year. It might help you down the push.
taxi snipes end at 10 o'clock Thursday morning. That's part of some of the most fun of this league is getting those taxi snipes. I
Yeah.
like to check my stats at about Tuesday morning or 3 o'clock when they start to open up, and who's going to get that first snipe at 3:01, 3:02, and
Mhm.
who's taking what. So
Absolutely.
won't have any more taxi snipes until next season after this week.
Man, last chance, guys. Get them while the picking is good.
So besides that, I will have a new power ranking for you tomorrow morning and also a playoff update to you. Might even have the asterisk for the Raiders saying that they've clinched a playoff spot. Could be the night.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Oh, that's right. You're in the AFC West.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh well, not my year. We'll get them next year.
So
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks again for Dave for doing all the homework. And we will see you all next week.
we'll see you guys. Thanks.
See ya.